Hello, listeners. This is Jesse.
And this is Greg.
And you're listening to Spoilers Are Good Actually, the podcast where we revisit some of our old favorite shows and talk about how knowing the ending affects our experience the second time through.
This episode, we're watching Book 2, Chapter 2, Cave of Two Lovers of Avatar: The Last Airbender. The way the show works is we have a non-spoiler section where we assume that our listeners have watched everything in Avatar: The Last Airbender up until the current episode. That's Book 2, Chapter 2. And we have a spoiler section, which will come after a little music break. The spoiler section assumes that you've watched all of Avatar: The Last Airbender, including the rest of Season 2 and Season 3, and also Legend of Korra, and maybe even you read a comic or two or any of the spin-off series. Basically, anything's fair game in the spoiler section. We heavily encourage for people to stay and listen to the spoiler section because the podcast is called Spoilers Are Good Actually.
And one quick content note. Avatar: The Last Airbender is a kids show, but this is not a kids podcast. While we won't be going into any more mature or adult themes than the show itself does, we will be using adult language, so listener be warned.
What's your favorite episode, Jesse?
It's not my favorite episode.
It's your favorite episode.
It's not that bad.
Nope, it's really not. We were talking to a friend of ours, Jana and Kevin, right? Mm-hmm. And we were talking about how bad the how we had to podcast for this and how like this just wasn't a great episode, and Kevin was like, it wasn't that bad, was it? And we were like, oh,
and I had to clarify that I don't like Katang.
Yeah, it's just.
And then he was like, oh,
yeah,
that'll do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, like, it's a fine episode. I actually forgot that a few of my favorite moments in Avatar are actually in this episode. And in all honesty, the fucking group that Sokka deals with is more annoying to me than like most of the episode, including the Katang parts.
Yeah.
I just don't like them.
I go back and forth. It depends on my mood. I do find them annoying, and sometimes that is funny, and sometimes it's infuriating.
Maybe it's just because I am Sokka in real life.
I mean, a little bit.
Anyway.
10-word summary.
Yeah, you want to go first or me?
I'll go first.
Okay.
Oh, no.
No, you go first.
You go first.
No, I go first.
You go first.
Yeah, damn it, you got me there. All right.
You did that to yourself.
10-word summary. The show ships Katang while Zuko robs from innocent people.
Wow. I mean, that happens. Mine is love, parentheses, bad drummels, and parentheses, leads the way. Appa has a bad time. Yeah,
I was going to talk about that too. This is basically Appa's worst day ever. Oh my god.
We get Fireball featuring Appa part 3. The reprise of the reprise. That poor boy.
Yeah, he's chasing. So first, Appa is just flying, doing his thing, and gets shot at by Fireball. So he has to go underground after we've clearly established that he fucking hates going underground. Then the Fire Nation comes behind him, and they, like, close him in, and he, like, runs back to that wall and tries to, like, scratch his way out.
Poor baby!
And they're like, sorry, Appa, we gotta go forward. And he continues to go straight while underground. And then those fucking, I think it was the wolf bats that, like, scared him. And he's distressed and shocked and scared, and he's in the dark, and he runs into a whole bunch of rocks.
Well, no, he does that because Sokka drops
fire.
This torch, and that, like, sets his fucking foot on fire.
So his foot gets burned, and so he ends up trying to get it off, ends up causing, like, a rock slide or whatever the fuck. I don't know what to call it. Anyway, he has to scratch at those rocks also. He has to stay in the room with Katang while they do their Katang thing. And
that's the worst part.
Only after all of that is he allowed into the beautiful wide open air. And his relief in that scene was it's so
cute. It's so sad.
It's like Appa just had such a bad day. I love the attention that like the creators had when they're like, we have to show how happy Appa is to not be underground anymore.
Yeah, it just went wrong for him at every turn. And this is just a guess, but I don't think he probably liked those songs either. Appa doesn't seem like the type to love that like banjo music.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, he seems to... I feel like Appa reacts to music the same way Chewie does. That is, he doesn't. Like...
I don't know. I feel like he can like music, but just not that music.
Fair enough.
Let's just continue with the main group's plot.
Yeah.
Get that out of the way. Listen, it's not that bad. It's not that bad. Most of the things that I dislike about this ship aren't really present in this episode. Aang is actually fine.
Yeah.
Like, he's kind of cute. First of all, octopus form. That is hilarious and cute. The little
Yeah. Octopus form is really cool.
I love the octopus form. Just in general, it's a Katara signature, and it's amazing. And then he's got like all the flowers in his hair, and he's just, you know, he's doing his best. He's trying.
One thing I picked up on was they recycled a joke, where they're like, is the story about Omashu or not Omashu about the Cave of Two Lovers real or is it a legend? They're like, it's a real legend. And I'm like, I've heard that before. I'm pretty sure they did the exact same thing with the Zhang Zhang episode when they're like, is Zhang Zhang real or a legend? And then his boy was like, oh, he's a real legend. And it's just interesting to me because I've never heard that particular like line of dialogue anywhere except here. Like it feels like a thing that I would have heard in some like other thing, but like anyway, that was just a thing I picked up on. It's not important or anything. It doesn't matter. Just that was cool.
Yeah.
The group are honestly pretty funny. There's that bit with the fire. They're like, how many of these
torches? Oh, they're so stupid.
How much time do we have? They're like, these torches last 2 hours each. We have 5 of them. And she lights all of them at once, and Sokka has to put 4 of them out. It was...
Hey, at least she can do basic math.
It was so bad.
How you know she's straight.
It was also weird that like this group of people felt like it had just a fluctuating number of people.
That's true.
There were just like 2 random people that like they started dancing during the Cave of Two Lovers
they were
song.
like the goths under the bridge. It was some interesting dance moves.
And then like sometimes that Moku guy, whatever his name is.
I think that was his name. That sounds right.
And like I think he is present in every scene, but it feels like he's not in some of them. And like the wife usually is around somewhere. But, like, and so it was just weird because I was like, how many people are there exactly here? I think it's 5.
I think it's the 5 of them, and
5.
those other 2 just don't talk.
Yeah.
I like Moku though. He was cute. I liked his little flower. And his little pink robes.
He did have a really nice design.
Uh-huh.
And then the great scene where he's like, are you going to go to Omashu with this? Nope. All right, cool. And that was it. That was the entire... They actually straight up animated a little thing where they zoomed in on the guy and for him to say exactly one word, and they went back to like...
It was so good. The timing was excellent. Chef's kiss.
I'm very aware that like my personal opinion on these people is very like... I feel like most people like them because they're kind of funny. Like, I think most people find them funny. I don't. They're just kind of grating to me. But, you know, it's whatever.
Yeah, no, it really depends on the day. I have felt very strongly both ways. Today, after watching it this time, I'm feeling, like, slightly positive towards them. But mostly just because I'm trying to be, like, optimistic and not just hate on this episode.
Yeah. So
it's not fun.
Yeah, so we have the whole thing where the Cave of Two Lovers, it feels like the entire plot was designed to separate Sokka from Katara and Aang so they can have a Katang moment. Like that's why
100%.
That's why Sokka was with those guys. That's why we had the fire thing. That's why Appa like caused a thing to happen that you know. And then we have like a thing that we did get out of it that I thought was pretty cool was like the origin of Omashu.
Yeah. It's some really fun lore and world building that we learn from this cave.
Got a Romeo and Juliet situation going on, but Juliet has superpowers, and and Romeo fucking dies, but Juliet's no, all y'all are done. We're done with this. No more of this shit. I will actually murder every single person in both of these towns. No, yeah, like I love the origin of Oma and Shu. I liked the introduction of the badger moles.
The badger moles are so cool.
Yeah, they're really awesome. I like the little bit how they're like they are earthbending, so they're the reason why the caves are like changing. Mm-hmm. And also they love music, which is just a nice little tidbit that it's just it adds a little character that most creatures don't really get.
Yeah.
You know?
They're clearly like on a different level than most of the creatures that we have seen so far in this universe. Mm-hmm. Pretty much everything has just been like normal animals with the exception of Appa.
Yeah.
And then these badger moles are like on Appa level.
Yeah.
Where they have much more of like a personality and they are like individuals.
I mean, and they bend, which is just cool.
And they bend.
Yeah.
I mean, so does Appa.
That's true.
That's how he flies.
That's true. Yeah, and then wolf bats were also cool, but they were just frightening.
Yeah, they're scary. That shit scared me so much as a kid.
Reasonably. Like, oh man,
I was a baby.
I ran like a little a D&D thing, and like level 1 monsters in D&D are wolves normally. Mm-hmm. So of course, when it was like a homebrew for the Avatar world, I made the wolf bats. I don't know. It was really fun. It was really cool. It just gave them the ability to fly. And
it's better than making people kill wolves.
I don't like that trope. Instead.
Like, why do we have to murder the dogs? I refuse to kill any wolves in Breath of the Wild. I will run from them. They can catch me and bite me all they want. I am not going to hurt a dog. Listen, quite a tangent, but I feel strongly.
So I think a thing that I noticed about the like Katang thing in this episode was that they were very intentionally ambiguous about Katara and her intentions and how she feels. Pretty much throughout the episode. She brought up the like, what if we kiss thing, and she did blush, but everyone, like any person, would probably blush if they were like, I might have to kiss this person who I have not established a romantic relationship with in order to survive.
Yeah, and right? It's probably extremely unlikely that she has kissed anyone before.
That's true, too.
There were not really
there weren't that many options
people her age in her tribe.
Like, even in that scene where the light is getting darker and it shows Aang and Katara moving closer to kiss.
Yeah, it's not clear if they actually did.
Yeah. It's really not. And like even when it like shows little close-ups of them and where like Aang looks very nervous and excited and we know he's really into this, it's not clear from the way Katara looks. The only indication that she felt anything throughout the entire episode about like this like dynamic that they had was at the very, very end where they showed a small blush with her at the end when she was like remembering what they, the Cave of Two Lovers thing.
Yeah.
So that was interesting. It's a choice that they made, and it feels like it's a very like. It feels like it's approaching the romance arc from the perspective of Aang, and we know that that's what they do. Like basically, it's like we know he's into her. Is she into him? Is she? And like the entire time, it's kind of the thing they want you to be like wondering: is she into him? I wonder if she's into him. Mm-hmm. And then like at the end, it's kind of like a maybe, probably, right? Wink, wink. I mean, like, that's I feel like that's what they were going for when they made the episode.
Yeah.
We already have expressed very clearly our feelings on it. It doesn't feel like they have the actual relationship outside of like, they don't have a very romantically inclined relationship. It's more of a caregiver and the cared for, generally speaking.
Yeah, the things that I dislike about Katang weren't really present in this episode. I think I said that already. Yeah. But, like, they didn't really do anything that exemplified the, parent-child relationship that they kind of had. Like, Aang wasn't, like, weird and entitled, and he didn't get, like, creepy or, like, angry or possessive. He was just, like, shy and cute and hopeful.
Yeah.
And they blushed a lot and they talked about kissing and it was ambiguous. And like, you know, fine. If that is what their entire romance and relationship was, fine, I guess. And like, you know, episodes like this make me understand the people who do really ship that and do really like this relationship because they, you know, really hold on to episodes like this and moments like this as like their examples, and like this is the best, most accurate representation of the two of them. Because like, you know, I'll do the same thing with my ships and like kind of cherry pick the best moments. We all do. So like, you know, I understand. And watching it again, I don't know. It like, I still didn't like it. I would not go as far as to say that I enjoyed it, but like it didn't make me angry. Just like rolling my eyes. Yeah.
They had some really funny jokes in the cave also, where I wouldn't want to kiss you. Obviously, I meant if it was between kissing you and dying, though, I would kiss you.
Amazing. That scene is hilarious. That she gets so angry. I love her.
It's
correct.
It's just a really good. I mean, like it reminds me of a lot of my favorite. Like I don't know, I'm brought back to like watching like basically any kids show on Nickelodeon or Cartoon Network or whatever that's showing like middle schoolers going through the steps of romance with each other, right? Like
it was awkward and
fun,
like funny, well-intentioned, good-natured.
Fun shit. We love that. It's great. Okay.
Yeah, and it seemed very age appropriate.
Yeah.
For how old they are, this is the kind of way that they would interact with romance in general.
Yeah. So that's really about all I have to say about Katang and that plot.
All right, let's move on to the better plot. Zuko!
It's really
Zuko,
funny that we...
Zuko.
Yeah.
Zuko. Zuko.
First, let's talk about Iroh. My man said, if it's between the most delicious tea I have ever heard of and death, and I'm not sure, I will take that gamble. The man has proven that he will die for his tea. Passion. Yes. You have to respect that. And
oh my God.
And the way he talked about it, he was like, yeah, man, like I'm scratching everywhere. He's like, yeah, the rash is
great physical comedy. I loved all the poses that he took.
The rash is gonna spread to my neck, and then I'm gonna stop breathing. But like, can you scratch right here? Like he didn't say that, but he expressed that. Like he had already accepted his fate. He was more than willing to gamble on his life for this tea. And then he was like, let me get these bushes that might also make me go blind. And like, also funny, but to be fair, at that point you probably should take that gamble. It's blind, it's go blind and die, or don't go blind and also don't die. Like
I mean, yeah, they probably should have taken some with them in case they didn't like find a town and find this house.
No, Zuko tossed them away. We're not taking any more gambles. I thought that was fun. There's also just one of my favorite lines of dialogue between him and Zuko where they're like, where will we go?
Oh yeah.
If we go to the Earth Kingdom, they'll have us killed. But if we go to the Fire Nation, they'll turn us over to Azula. Earth Kingdom it is. Just a really good line. I fucking love that.
A classic.
Classic.
I love Iroh with all the friggin' paste on his face, all puffed up, making his like indignant, angry face at being named Mushi.
Uncle Mushi and Junior.
Oh my God, yeah, so cute.
Just like a lot of small things that show these characters in slightly different lights that we didn't need, but are very revealing and entertaining. Just like, it's just a lot of fun.
Yeah, Iroh was absolutely fucking hilarious this episode. Overall, a very funny episode.
And then we've got a lot of Zuko being exposed to these people that have been directly harmed by his nation.
Yeah.
They go to these people and he's doing the like sulky teenager thing. I don't want to deal. We're not staying for roast duck. No, we really have to get going.
Which, like, listen, dude, you were just complaining about the food that you couldn't find. Like, why are you turning down a meal?
I mean, you know,
I too hate socializing. I don't want to talk to strangers. But if y'all are, like, struggling to find your next meal, you gotta accept that.
Yeah. I think it's also significant that, like, he has the scar on... Like, he has the scar. It's very visible. It's on his face. Mm-hmm. And it's very clearly a burn scar. So everyone knows that someone in the Fire Nation hurt you physically. Mm-hmm. And so the assumption is you're one of us. You are a person that we can connect to deeply because you are also a person who's been hurt. You're a refugee. You've been hurt by the Fire Nation. We were once refugees. I was burned by the Fire Nation. She shows him the burns on her leg. Mm-hmm. I took a note. So like I found 3 moments where it was like this. We had a scar/no scar moment. The first one was Song asked Zuko if Song was talking about her father and how he was fighting in the war, and Zuko's like, I haven't seen my father in years. And then she said, oh, is he fighting in the war? And we see his scar. Mm-hmm. Yes, he is. He looked like contemplative.
You know, not a lie.
Yeah, I mean, right?
It's like, not really the truth, but it's not a lie either.
Yeah, like, yeah, like, I'm, like, that's a question that Zuko's got to answer, and it makes, like, you can see it's immediately making him think about, like, that scar, that pain, his father, and all those mixed feelings that are connected to it. I think, like, immediately after that, it shows both sides of it, of his face, which, you know, I kind of interpret to be, like, him really thinking about, like, the implications of this, what this means to him and to, like, these other people. So that was the first one. The next one was when, you know, she saw his scar and she said that he'd been hurt by the Fire Nation, and then she showed him her scar on her leg, and we only saw his the non-scarred side of his face. They like zoomed in on that. Yeah. I mean, like this showing that, like, he's a person. He's got sympathy. He feels that, like, this is a person who has been physically harmed by these same people. This is an innocent person who opened her home to me and gave us food.
Right. I think that's got to be one of the biggest distinctions that he starts to see now that they're refugees, is, like, the effects on regular everyday people. And, like, this random teenage girl, young adult, has a nasty burn all over her leg. Yeah. And it's switching the mindset from, like, this is a war, there are soldiers. Like, sure, people are getting hurt, but that's just war. There's people fighting. Right. Right. And seeing the reality of the situation, which is that the Fire Nation military does not give a shit. Yeah. And they're cruel to just everyone.
And then we come right back to the scar side when she says, don't worry, there's hope. The Avatar has returned. Zuko doesn't have a good relationship with Aang. He doesn't like anything that Aang represents. I feel like, to a degree, he kind of blames Aang for a lot of the things that are happening to him right now. Right? So even after hearing this about, like, this, again, innocent person, hearing that the Avatar has returned, hearing that she has hope, hearing that, you know, if she had to choose between him and the Avatar, she'd go for the Avatar. Like, it's heavy, right? It's the kind of thing
I hadn't thought of it that way, but you're definitely right. Because, you know, my boy's got abandonment issues. Yeah. Yeah. And to feel like he's being, like, rejected by somebody who he was having a genuine connection with, and then suddenly, like, does a 180 and is sitting here like, yeah, but the Avatar, though, I love the Avatar. The Avatar is so great. Like, of course that's gonna sting.
Yeah, it hurts a lot. And immediately after that is when he makes the decision to take that, like, ostrich mount thing, whatever, from them. Right? Like, it's...
Ostrich horse.
Ostrich horse? Sure. Like, you know, steal from these very nice people that took them into their home, saved Iroh's life, fed them. And, you know, even Iroh was like, these people did you a great kindness. And he's like, well, they're going to do a little more kindness. And Iroh's like, you crazy kids. And Hopson also, like, at the end of the day, Iroh is more than willing to allow Zuko to make mistakes and kind of set his own path, even if that includes doing things that Iroh would never do himself.
Yeah.
Right? And that makes him complicit, but it's just the way he is as a person.
It's another example of how he really separates his own actions and his own values from what he kind of like allows Zuko to do. Not that he has control over him, but he's kind of like fighting with him and supporting him on this journey, doing a bunch of shit Iroh doesn't agree with. And he clearly does not have a strong like sense of responsibility for causing so many of those things.
Yeah.
Like he was able to be like, all right, this is Zuko's mistake. Let him steal the horse.
Yeah.
I don't think that Iroh was sitting there thinking of himself as the thief. Right. I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, it makes sense.
He just looked like disappointed in Zuko.
Mm-hmm. And it's interesting because I feel like a lot of people, whether in this universe or not in it, they wouldn't go along with it. They wouldn't just...
They would at least argue a bit.
Yeah. But like, that's not what Iroh did. That's not how Iroh...
He didn't argue at all. He just reminded him that like, these people were really nice to you, dude.
Yeah. And Zuko acknowledged it and kept doing it. Those are the big things, though. Like, it's the beginning of a journey for a lot of us. Oh, also, Oma and Shu's on fire.
Yeah, that's just kind of thrown in at the end there.
That's fine. There's
cliffhanger.
I'm sure that won't amount to anything. That's not a big deal.
Hanging from a cliff. Did you ever watch Between the Lions?
I know exactly what you're referencing. Okay.
I could have just done that connection in my head and not said anything out loud. But I have to be in this mode to podcast where I just kind of let myself say what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's not how I am normally. Mm-hmm. Normally, I really like to think things through, and I'm pretty quiet, and like I will have really calculated the things that I add to a conversation. But when we're podcasting, we need to just talk and we need to just keep it going and flowing. So I'm in that mindset. So when my stupid little goblin brain heard cliffhanger and started singing the Between the Lions cliffhanger song, it just...
Yeah, I think that
just came out of my mouth.
I heard cliffhanger, hanging from a cliff, and that's why he's called Cliffhanger.
All right. So I think that's everything. Now we can move on to the golden fuck. I have no golden fuck nominations. Jesse, do you have any?
Yeah, I have 3.
Why?
Because there were 3 moments.
No, there weren't.
Well, just wait till you hear them.
I wish y'all could have seen that head bob.
You're going to be biting your tongue.
It needed a Z-snap to finish it off, but go Jesse.
Horrible. I hated that. For those of y'all who might be new to the podcast, the Golden Fuck is a segment that we do every episode where we award one character one usage of the word fuck. It comes from the MPAA ratings and the difference between PG-13 and rated R. In a PG-13, you can say fuck exactly once. So who would we give that to? When would we give it to them? And why? It's just a fun little game we like to play.
I tend to lose.
I mean...
It's not really a competition.
Not
but
really.
If it was, I'd lose.
It's a competition between the characters.
Yeah.
Not between us.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I have 3 and they're all for Sokka.
All right, well, Sokka gets the golden fuck.
Because I mean, like, this...
Congratulations.
Who else in this episode?
No, maybe Appa. Oh.
Appa in the subtitles.
Yeah.
Fireball Part 3.
Fireball Part 3.
Fireball.
That's my nomination. Appa, that one scene we see him running from fireballs, just a giant fuck right there. In subtitles, of course.
Obviously.
All right, go, Jesse.
So the first one is near the beginning, right before they go into the tunnel. He's getting exasperated at every new detail that the nomads and the musicians throw at him. And they're like, oh, yeah, like it's a labyrinth. And he's like, are you fucking kidding me? But where I would give him fuck is when they say, oh yeah, it's probably because of the curse, and he stops, and he lets out this big groan. And I think he should just, instead of that groan, say, fuck, curse? So yeah, that's number one. Number two, when all those wolf bats are coming at him.
Yeah.
That's a good time.
Yeah.
It's probably the worst one of these three. But I wrote it down because
it's a good time to do it
was
though.
appropriate.
Yeah.
And then the last one is at the very, very end when they come upon Amashu. Because he goes, the city of O...
You're right, actually.
Fuck.
That's correct,
The city of O fuck.
Yeah. That one. That's the one. That's it. You're right.
Because he says, wrong. Oh no, but like it could be oh fuck.
It's oh fuck. It's definitely oh fuck. Yeah, that's correct. All right, good.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Sokka. Our season one Golden Fuck champion. Bring it right back in season 2.
So before we get into the spoiler section, I do have a couple quick announcements. The first is that a project that I am a part of, it's a Kuvira zine, currently has pre-orders open. You can order those. I don't know the exact link. It's on Big Cartel. Search Kuvira. You'll find it. You can also find it on my Twitter at SunbearGirl. It's going to be really cool. Kuvira, for those of you not spoiling, is a character from The Legend of Korra, and I love her, even though I say even though it's because she's a villain. So yeah, please check that out if you are at all interested and consider ordering the zine.
I've seen her art. It's very nice. You'll like it. Do you like Pokemon? Do you want to see an Avatar character as a Pokemon trainer? Get the zine.
Thank you. You made a much better pitch for it than I did, and much more succinctly. And then the second thing is I wanted to remind everyone of a promise that we made in, I think, the finale of last
Oh, you're going to remind
season?
them of that again?
Yeah.
Oh, God. You really want us to watch it.
Which is, if we get 25 ratings on iTunes, doesn't matter how many stars, you can be honest with us. If you think it sucks, give us one.
But
and
be
just,
nice and be
and
constructive.
just say fuck you.
Okay.
Or you could give us 5 stars. That's what I would prefer.
Also be constructive. Okay, we got it.
I don't care what it says. If we get 25 ratings on iTunes by the time we're finished with book 3 of this podcast, then we will do a special finale episode covering the M. Night Shyamalan Last Airbender movie. And I think we did also say that if we get 100, we have to do it sober.
Damn. Why do you want... Yeah, you're right. We did say that.
I did say that. That's not very likely, but
hey,
25. Get to
yeah.
25. You want us to suffer. I know you do.
I don't want to do it sober, so like, thank God you made it 100.
I mean, it's supposed to be a big incentive. Come on. All right. So thanks for that. And now let's go ahead and get into spoilers. Okay, so pretty much everything that I have to say in the spoiler section is Zutara related.
Go for it.
So let's have our daily, weekly Zutara moment. And now, time for your regularly scheduled Zutara. Zutara. What?
I had forgotten that you made a sound for this, and I was wondering why you like set that up and then were quiet for a moment. I was like, this is an awkward silence. What are you doing?
No, it is not. It's a perfect silence. Right. So, Cave of Two Lovers. Mm-hmm. Oma and Shu. Mm-hmm.
I don't get
Zutara. How can they sit here and try and tell us that this Cave of Two Lovers business has anything to do with Katang whatsoever, when it just has so many parallels to the development of Zutara?
I don't know.
First of all, two lovers separated from one another by a war that divides their people. Come on.
I don't get it. I don't understand.
Come on.
No, I don't understand.
They literally make the characters in the little animation of Oma and Shu and the story when they have that, you know what I'm talking about. Those characters, they are wearing red and blue. Red and blue.
I don't think so.
Blue and red.
I don't remember that. I think they were wearing green. Jesse, it just makes sense that if they were Earth Kingdom, green and brown. If they're Earth Kingdom, they had to have been wearing green and brown.
That would have made sense, wouldn't it? It would have made a lot of sense to make them in 2 shades of green.
I'm not rewatching it, so I can't confirm, but I'm pretty sure that they weren't in red and blue. You're just making this up to make
that would be too on the nose.
That would just
right
match
if they were wearing red and blue. Like, listen, the woman wore red and the man wore blue, so like we got a little plausible deniability.
So it's the painted lady and the blue spirit instead.
Yep. That's exactly what I was gonna say. Yeah, they are literal reincarnations of Oma and Shu. That is my headcanon.
You've got a lot of headcanons going on.
Yes, I do. And they're all Zutara. Like, come on, the green crystals in the Cave of Two Lovers. The green crystals in the Crystal Catacombs under Ba Sing Se, where they have a moment.
I mean, it's just the same crystal. Don't look too far into it, Jess.
God, and then they have that scene of the woman doing her earth bending and she's in front of like a blood red fucking moon.
That could be the sun, Jesse.
Shut up. It's the moon because I said so. That to me looks like Katara doing some bloodbending bullshit. That's all I'm saying. Oh God, I'm gonna have to really like turn down the volume of this section because I am just screaming. But it's...
And this has been our weekly Zutara moment.
No, I'm not done.
This has not been.
You think I'm done?
Moment. Jesse's never done.
I'm never done with Zutara. But I did have specifically one more point about Zutara to make in this episode, which is the moment where Song tries to like reach out and touch Zuko's scar and he just like yoinks her hand out of the air. Doesn't do that when Katara tries to touch his scar. She gets to caress his face under the romantic glowing green lights.
And this has been our weekly Zutara moment.
Fine, I'll stop if you want me to.
No, this is actually a lot of fun. I'm just enjoying playing this role.
Like, come on. The Oma and Shu story perfectly parallels the fucking development between Zuko and Katara. And they have the nerve to not make that arc romantic.
On purpose, of course.
Yeah, on purpose. Listen, there's literally been fucking quotes about how they teased Zutara to spite people.
Yeah, I heard.
So, like, I would not put it past them. Or maybe it was just someone on the art team who really shipped it and made Oma and Shu wearing red and blue, and they got it right past Bryke's little eyeballs.
I could imagine they like got like a part of the text and they like received the writing and they're like, oh, okay. So this is okay, cool. And like they just interpreted it that way without realizing.
Like, obviously this is Zutara.
Clearly this is Zutara. Okay,
obviously.
cool. I got you. Let me make it more subtle by making it red and blue, like switching the colors.
Switch it around, yeah.
But like,
they're still earthbenders.
But like savvy kids watching this, they'll get it. Yeah. And then they watch the episode and they spit take and they're like,
excuse me?
Do you think they kissed?
Yes.
I don't think they did.
Really?
I mean, my thought was that like how they react later when Aang, maybe they did. I'm thinking about when like Aang kisses Katara later. Does it feel more like a first kiss?
I mean, it feels like one person kissing another person who's not remotely reciprocating. That's what it feels like. The second time.
Yeah, actually, I think they did.
I think they did because she blushed at the end.
Yeah.
I think that is what implies that they did actually kiss real fast.
Mm-hmm.
Like an extremely chaste,
yeah, maybe
lips full puckered, just
lewd.
little peck.
Lewd.
I mean, I did use a lot of lewd sounding words to describe the least lewd kiss of all time.
Mm-hmm. Words like chaste. Anyway.
I don't know. I don't know how else to describe it.
No. I think you described it very well. I'm just making very bad jokes.
They were all right jokes, but I was just the butt of them, so I did not play along.
I really don't have too much to say about Zuko mid, development, just because... I don't know. I feel like I'm going to always want to just come back to, the Zuko alone episode, because that's the big one, right? And I don't have too much more to say about it outside of the individual episodes. They're all slow, gradual steps towards Zuko becoming the person he is in season 3.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's just something about seeing this very slow development. Something about seeing him, face these very real horrors that his people have inflicted upon the world from the world's perspective. Mm-hmm. And it's not like it's all the same or anything like that, but it's just that I don't have much to add here. It's good. It's going to keep being good because Zuko wrestles with these things constantly. Mm-hmm. He's going to wrestle with it throughout the season. And there's not too much is going to change about that core fact. Mm-hmm. He will wrestle constantly, and it's going to be hard, and we love it.
Yeah, they make him so... His facial expressions show so much emotion in this episode. They kind of always do because he's full of emotion, despite trying to be the, stoic, broody kid.
Yeah. But
just his reactions to everything, his facial expressions are just subtly showing everything he's feeling. I mean, it's not subtle, but when he sees Song Scar, that face just, always breaks my heart.
Yeah. Yeah.
It just feel that.
Mm-hmm.
It's so painful.
Yeah. But yeah, it's kind of disappointing, but I don't really have too much to add for the spoiler section for Zuko.
Yeah, there's a trope that comes up a lot in the fic community of post-canon Zuko, going back to visit Song.
Oh.
And,
returning.
Giving them an ostrich horse and, money and shit and, hello. Reparations to you specifically.
Yeah.
And it's very sweet.
Mm-hmm. I would like that. Oh, other things I wanted to mention, small, quick things. Octopus form. Love it. That was one of my favorite things to see in the fight, at the season finale fight. Mm-hmm. When Katara breaks out the octopus form herself.
Yeah.
Really fucking cool. I'm glad it makes... Because it's such a unique, interesting thing, and it's really cool to see that this has practical application in a battle.
The octopus form is so good.
Yeah, it's just really fucking cool. And then
she looks so impressive and scary, and I love her.
Mm-hmm. And then I think the Badger Mole's characterization is kind of one of my favorite out of the quote unquote original benders.
Yeah.
Dragons don't have too much development. We don't get too much on the Sky Bison either. Mm-hmm. And the moon apparently taught the Water Tribe.
I don't know why we couldn't have given them orcas or something.
Yeah.
They need an animal.
Yeah.
Let's be real.
But badger moles are a creature that have been constantly interacting with people in the world for consistently, right? Mm-hmm. We know that Toph was trained by them. They're apparently very good teachers. That's what I'm learning. Everyone fucking teaches them. They love music, and that's a thing that's also consistent every time they're because we have in Korra, fucking
Prince Wu.
Prince Wu sings for them. I thought that was a really cool bit too.
He also sings poorly.
I
wonder if they only like bad singing.
I mean, we haven't compared it to good singing.
We haven't tested that theory.
Fact is, they have sensitive hearing, and they're oh, that's something interesting. I'm enjoying it, I
Yeah,
guess.
it's not really established in this episode that it's kind of...
That they're blind.
Yeah. But they do clarify that when they talk about Toph.
Yeah.
Right? Which, like, you know, you can assume because of, like, moles.
Right. They probably don't have the best
really
vision.
have good eyesight,
Yeah.
like, hardly at all. And they have very good hearing. And then...
Yeah. But, like, that... I love badger moles. Badger moles are definitely one of my favorite...
They're so fun.
Avatar
And they're so
characters.
cute.
Creatures. Whatever, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I like seeing them here. That's all my notes. That's everything I've got.
Yeah, I didn't have much in the spoiler section to say except for ranting about Zutara.
It was a very good rant. It's very, like, you make very good points about how the parallels really better match Zuko and Katara than Katara and Aang.
I don't know that the show is necessarily, like, intentionally saying it was paralleling Katang, right? But, like, you would expect it to a little bit when they are retracing the steps of the two lovers as the plot of the episode.
Yeah, I mean...
Right, like, it's clearly supposed to be at least on some level a parallel to them, but the story is not at all.
Yeah, I mean, like, this is my big issue with the way Bryke handled the Zutara thing. There's a very, very actually valid interpretation of their media that people have. It's valid not just in a subjective way, but in an objective. There are facts that we can point to that we can very clearly say work very well for this conclusion. But they don't seem to have any interest in
Exploring it at all.
Exploring it, or even telling the people that have that interpretation, that's valid. I didn't notice that, right? Like, the creator can say, I didn't intend that, but I see how you got there. Right. And that is kind of fucked. That's kind of a dick move. I can write something, not realize that it has an alternate interpretation, see that somebody found that in my writing and say, I didn't intend that, but I do but I do see how you got there.
Can I recommend a YouTube video?
No, you can't.
Okay.
You never listen to me. All right, so that's the end of the podcast. I'm going to go see if my...
No, so YouTube content creator, the channel is called Sneezy Reviews. I will leave the @ in our description. She has
that one girl that
an exceptional video called Get In Losers, We're Standing Zutara.
It is that one girl that...
And it's just... It's a really fun Zutara analysis from, like, a literary criticism perspective. And going through all of these, like, story beats and arcs that, like, make up the reason that this is such a good ship. And I say that... I bring it up partially because... like Greg said, that, like, there is an objective argument here beyond just, like, who you like better, you know? And this video goes into so much detail about it. And it also spends a long time on Oma and Shu, and that is definitely influenced, like, my opinion on it and my rant, and, like, some of the details that I pointed out, I'm sure, are, like, stemming from that video. I just wanted to recognize that it was a big influence on my specific argument that I did today. All right, that is all we have today for Book 2, Chapter 2 of Avatar The Last Airbender, The Cave of Two Lovers. Didn't write down what the next episode was.
Oh, God.
You gonna look it up?
It's probably Return to Oma and Shu. Join us for Avatar The Last Airbender, Book 3, Chapter. Book 3, Chapter 3, Return to Oma and Shu. I'm pretty sure that's what it is.
Think about that. Just a little bit more what you just said.
Damn. Hey, everybody. It's Greg here. You can come back to me again next week when we do Book 2, Chapter 3, Return to Oma and Shu. In
the meantime, make sure to follow us on Twitter @SpoilersAreGood. We post... a bit there about the podcast, updates if there's delays in episodes, polls if we can't decide on a golden fuck, all that goodness. If you don't have a Twitter, or you just have some longer, more complex thoughts that you'd like to share, you can always email us. That email is spoilersaregoodpodcast@gmail.com. And remember, that if we get 25 ratings on iTunes, we will do a special Last Airbender movie episode. So please go follow and give us a like or a rating or a subscription on whatever podcasting medium you use. We really appreciate it. And it really helps with visibility of this podcast.
Y'all, I don't like that movie. Please don't make me watch it.
Make us watch it.
Damn.
Make us suffer.
Oh, yeah,
I'm done. It's your turn.
Oh, God. So anyway, remember, until next time, and even after next time, just because it's spoiled doesn't mean it's rotten. Oh, don't make me watch that movie. Please.
Why?
No.
It's a great movie.
No, it's not.
They want to see our queens. I just want to hug him.
You just want to what now?
I just want to hug him.
You just want to... You...
I just want to hug him. Marinello's Adrian.
Stop.